What's going on, everybody? It's Angela from Cheesy's Boxing Show. I know we're not up on iTunes. We still having issues with that, but tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a quick prediction show, and we'll get it out to whoever we can get it out to. First things first, follow us on Twitter, Cheap Seats Box. iTunes doesn't even fucking work. Don't even worry about that this week. But we will be getting it back next week, as you can hear the cars in the background. I am on the move. Um, Email the show, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, anything like that. We will get back to you. Can you please, if you would, go to the Patreon page, patreon.com/cheapseatsboxing. Donate anything because it looks like your boys are going to start paying out of pocket for the first time ever. This is bullshit. It is what it is. What can you do, right? All right, so what we had this past weekend. Robert Easter Jr., Luis Cruz. Luis Cruz was overmatched. Look, the guy's lost, 4 out of his last 6 fights? Something like that. 3 out of his last 5, 1 draw, something like that. So he was overmatched. This was a coming home performance for Robert Easter. It was a way to get him in front of his home fans as he got to get his easy title defense. You know, everybody always gets that one easy title defense. I used to be okay with it, not as much anymore because nobody fights more than 2 fucking times a year. So, it is what it is. But, Robert East looked good. A lot of people are really saying about what they don't like about, what they saw, what they didn't like. He didn't stop Cruz. He knocked him down, 10th, 11th, and 12th round, something like that. He could have took him out, maybe, but then I think we're just looking for reasons and things to find wrong. That's just what fans of any sport do. They look to see what's wrong, and your team could have won, 35-3 in the NFL, and you're still going to talk about, but I didn't like the way we were tackling in the fourth quarter, or our quarterback was not hitting our receivers in stride. That's what we do. You know what? He's one of the better lightweights in the world. I'd favor him against most everybody except for Mikey Garcia. But I'm a big Robert Easter fan. It was a big win for him. In the undercard, Rashi Warren loses his title to, let's just call him ZZ. That's what everybody's calling him because I'm not pronouncing that name. Rashi Warren knocks him down twice in the first round, and then proceeds to lose probably at least 9 rounds after that. That is what it is. I'm sure they'll run it back just like him and Payano did. I'm not going to hit too much up on it. Showtime. Ivan Baranchyk and Abel Ramos in what may be, it's going to be really close. It's definitely it'll probably be up in the consideration of fight of the year. What an amazing battle. Knockdowns, multiple knockdowns in rounds. In the end, the power of Baranchyk was just, it seemed to be too much for Ramos, but I'm gonna go opposite of what I always say. You know how I say a lot of times the boxer gets more credit than he deserves in fights against brawlers, punchers, and in this fight, I think it was the opposite. I think the puncher and Baranchyk got every benefit of every doubt because he would hit Ramos with a big shot that would move him back. But in between those big shots, Ramos was doing a lot of good work with the jab, hitting them with stiff 1-2s, hitting them with combinations. But it just seemed like, Branchik's power was just too much. I thought this was a closer fight than what they had it. It was a 10-round fight. But, this was a 6-4 fight. The knockdowns, of course, can widen it. But, the judges had him give him 7, 8, 9 rounds, and there's no way he won 9 rounds. You got to give Abel Ramos credit for controlling so much of those rounds. But they had some great back and forth action, third round knockdown, each knockdown each other. Just the sixth round, they were just going at it. Just if you guys haven't checked it out, go to Showtime. It's a free preview weekend. Maybe you'll get the on demand for the Adrian Broner fight that's going on. So it's free Showtime weekend. So I will be watching Adrian Broner live this weekend. You know, I have turned off my Showtime over a year ago. HBO will probably be coming off. I probably will be going to no cable at all here in the future. But what a battle! What a freaking battle! Go check it out, Baranchik and Ramos on demand if you can, or on YouTube because it's always up there somewhere. What an amazing battle! I gotta make this quick because don't have a lot of time, and you guys know what's been going on with the hosting system. So Adrian Granados, Adrian Broner, the battle of the Adrians. It's Adrian on Adrian crime. This fight already marred by the fact that it was moved from 142 to 147 in a move that looks to just put more advantages in the side of Adrian Broner. But to me, what this does, and it came out that this move in the weight was actually pretty much agreed upon weeks ago. So I don't know if it's going to have the effect on Granados that they think it's going to have, because it wasn't like something that was just brought up last week and he's right there on weight, so he doesn't have to cut. But I mean, if you knew a few weeks ago, he was probably getting close to in the vicinity of probably 155 or something around there, maybe closer to 150. So he was right there at the weight. Look, I've been saying it. I wish you could go back all the way to episode 10, where I've been off the Adrian Broner bandwagon. He's just not that good. You go back to the Emmanuel Taylor fight, a fight that he actually pulled out from getting a knockdown in the 12th round. He doesn't get that knockdown on my card, he loses. The Porter, the Maidana fights. He's actually regressed against really slow prodding fighters. He can look good at times, but then you look at a guy like Marcos Maidano's not the fastest guy ever. He got to him early. I think if Broner doesn't get to him right away and establish that he's the bigger, stronger guy, and Granados gets any kind of feeling that he's going to win this fight, I expect him to win this fight. I expect him to do enough to win this fight. I expect him to win. Now here's the rub. It's only a 10-round fight, I think I read, and not a 12-round fight. So that actually does favor Adrian Broner, because that means he can go harder because he doesn't have to go as long. But I see him doing something similar in Granados in the way that he did against Imam. He's got motivation. Fighting for Brown, the young up and comer out of Chicago who was shot and killed last year. But I see him doing something similar. Maybe Broner tries to jump on him early. We saw Imam look like he was going to overwhelm Granados early, and it just was like, no, his will was too strong, and I think a strong will is a kryptonite to a guy like Adrian Broner at this stage in his career. His feet seem to be planted in cement more than ever. His output is low, and Granados is not going to stop coming. He's going to do enough for me to. I see it winning 6 to 7 rounds at least. Now that doesn't mean he's going to get the decision, since it is in Ohio. I think it's in Cincinnati, so it's going to be really tough for him. But I think most people, unless he gets stopped, are going to be. You're going to hear a lot of people saying, I think that Granados, he pulled this one out. I think he's just going to be too active for Broner. I see a lot of things, and I see how good Broner looks physically at the weigh-in, and Granados missed the weight initially on the scale. So did Lamont Peterson. Somehow they brought in a brand new scale, and they both made it. I don't know what that says about Ohio scales. You can draw your own conclusions. But chalk me up, man. I've said it from the beginning, man. You see things that want to try to talk you out of it, but I got to take my first inclination. My first inclination was Adrian Granados when I saw this fight signed. it just is what it is with that. I can't see it any other way, unless somehow Broner does get to him early and knocks him down early and takes away all the confidence. We shall see. Um, and Granados actually, he's fought a lot of fights at 147. He's used to getting hit by uh, bigger guys, so I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. I really don't. It's been made a lot of. Lamont Peterson fighting David Avanesian for that regular title that Avanesian won in that fight against Shane Mosley. At his best, Lamont Peterson beats Avanesian pretty convincingly. But goddamn, he doesn't fight. He just doesn't fucking fight. So what can you say? What do you do? I mean, it is. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Peterson with a decision, but I just don't know with this kind of long layoff what to expect. But yeah, I'll go with Peterson. Also, Kell Brook signed on to fight Errol Spence. A lot of people thought that wasn't going to happen, but guess what? It is going to happen. Um, Give credit to both guys. Well, we know Spence wanted this. Brook, a lot of people thought he wasn't going to do it. He was going to go to 154. I did. I absolutely did. Um, you know, there will be a little bit of an asterisk if Brook looks to be a little weak in this fight or a little sluggish in this fight. But you know what? That's on Brook. If he thinks he can make it, he's got to make it. That's his fucking job. That's what you signed up for. So, people are going to want to take away some of the credit from Errol Spence. And you know what? Spence can only fight the champion who's in front of him. And right now, that champion is Kell Brook. And he decided he wanted to go all the way back to 147. So, you know what? I just take my hat off to him and say, fuck it. Let the best man win. At their best, I probably pick early on Brook. But it's really difficult to say that he's going to be at his best. Going back down in weight has never been something that's highly effective for fighters. But Brook is young enough that he could overcome it. And Spence will be coming off his longest layoff of his career. So that may counterbalance some of that sluggishness, or that, if he has to drain himself, Brook does. That could balance out some of it if there's a little bit of rust on Errol Spence. But either way, it's going to be a fun fight. Should be a good fight, man. I mean, it's what you want to see. Two guys at the peak of their careers. Even though Brook coming off the loss to Triple G, I still say he's in his prime. If he thinks he can make it, well, it's incumbent on him to make it. So we shall see. Chavez Jr. Canelo Press Tour coming to Houston on Thursday. This Thursday coming up. Your man will try to be out there. I may be out there. So look for us on Twitter to be shooting out some live video from the presser, from any meet and greets that are out there. We'll see. It should be fun. It should be crazy. Going to be downtown at Minute Maid Park. But we shall see. So I had to get it on the record. I had to do it. I had to get it on the record of what I thought of these fights coming up. I got to get my picks official, man, because when Granados beats Broner, I got to have it on record. So we will be moving hosting sites. You probably won't get the archives. I mean, you could go on TuneIn and get pretty much every show back from the last probably 140 shows, probably something like that, 130 shows. That's going to go down, people. It's going to be down to 3 to 4 shows in the archives at a time. So if you're a listener who gets behind and catches up, it's probably not going to be the best for you. It's going to be... the good thing is these are weekly topical shows, so it shouldn't hurt us too bad. But again, thank everybody for listening. We will see you next week. It'll be both of us together. We will be back on iTunes. Hopefully, this one will eventually find its way up there. But thank you again, everybody, for listening. Follow the show on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box. email us, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, anything like that. Go to the Patreon page and donate if you will. $1 a month, $2 a month, all helps. It all goes back into the show. We're not trying to get rich off this thing. We know that that's not in the cards. We have a realization. That's why we don't spend that much money on the show, because we know we ain't making none. God damn it, that's how we do it. And this is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate, and we do it just like you from the cheap seats, because we ain't buying no tickets. God damn it, peace.